My name is Logan Housley, and I'm a Marketing and Merchandising Assistant with MerchKit.
Today, we are going to be learning about balance. Balance is the creation of an easy-to-accept relationship between the parts of the composition. If a design were cut in half by an imaginary line drawn through the center, and one side was an exact replica or mirror image of the other side, that would be a classic example of symmetrical or formal balance. However, the objects on either side of the imaginary line are usually of similar weight and prominence, not an actual mirror image. This would be considered asymmetrical balance. Symmetrical balance in a display usually indicates that the merchandise is expensive or is of a higher quality. This type of balance is utilized with formal attire, business apparel, and other expensive merchandise that calls for dignity, authority, or formality in presentation. Although formal balance is traditionally used to create an aesthetic display, one must be careful as to not overuse it, as it can create boredom or a staid state. Asymmetrical balance is more interesting, exciting, and usually more casual than symmetrical balance. Let's look at some examples of balance. First is this example of asymmetrical balance. I'm going to split the display in half, then draw a line to represent the balance. From this line, we can see that the display definitely has balance, even though the objects on both sides aren't an exact mirror of each other. This is because the elements highlighted in the blue boxes are of equal weight. Let's look at this example of symmetrical balance. Again, I am drawing a line down the middle of the display, and then using the blue lines to show the balance of the display. Because the elements highlighted in the purple boxes are mirroring each other on the other side of the black line, this is considered a symmetrical display. Now that we've seen some examples of balance in displays, you might be thinking, well, is it really that bad if my display doesn't have balance? The answer to this is two-sided. At times, a display presentation can be completely lacking in any sense of balance and still be very good. This is done for reasonings like creating an element of surprise or catering to a particular traffic flow. As a merchandiser, though, you must be thoughtful and careful about not using balance, as it can make your display look messy and unorganized, as well as take away from the visual or curb appeal of the overall display, which increases the odds for customers to not notice, especially as attention spans are decreasing. Now that we've talked about the negatives of not having balance, let's look at the real question. How does balance affect product engagement and overall sales? The answer to this is quite simple. When your display has balance, whether it's formal or informal, people will be drawn to it because of how easy to accept the visual is. Combined with your own creativity and understanding of the brand, you'll be able to boost product engagement, which will in turn boost your overall sales. And finally, let's look at how to implement balance in your display. You can add a visual component like props, or play around with different products that are different sizes. You can also create a symmetric display, or use different shapes to create the illusion of a balanced display.
Thanks for joining us today. Happy merchandising.